I think the thing that sort of set me off today. So I was watching this clip. I'd seen this clip before, and it's a big think clip talking about the not even human, female sexuality. And in it, the researcher says that evidence is borne out that women are easily turned on by things, by many, many things, which I agree with. I think the way. Okay, I'll get through what he's referenced first. So he makes the observation that according to this research being done, that the sexuality of women is largely misunderstood. There are things that even women believe, oh, well, this thing turns me on. But based on the research that was done, turns out a lot of things turn women on. A lot of things that women won't cop to turns them on. And I would agree with that. I would say that sounds legitimate. And I think that actually backs up a lot of the the observations I've made, not so much around sexuality, but more so around desire, right? And articulating female desire in literature and art and these sorts of things. So I'm not talking specifically about sex, though I think all of these things cumulatively have an effect on each other. So what I mean by that is, in culture, we're very conditioned to men and women, so not just men, but men and women are conditioned to view women through a male lens, right, through the male gaze, and interpreting female sexuality through the male gaze. And it's funny, like, you don't notice it. I think even as a female, you don't notice it. It's so transparent that you don't realize the constraint that's there. I think I only notice it particularly when I'm writing. And it depends. Like, so if I'm writing and I'm inspired, let's say, I'm in love and I'm writing, that is all very impulsive and easy, and things just flow out. But if I'm writing sort of consciously, and I want to so not writing as myself, but I'm writing as a character. So this is a different exercise. So not writing impulsively or from inspiration, because I don't even know what to call that. But if I'm writing consciously as a character, and I need to, I'm thinking about how to construct that character's motivations. I find for myself that I default to a male understanding of female desire, which is really peculiar. So for instance, the female will, this is weird, but the female will desire to be desired as opposed to the female pursuing her desire. Do you understand that? You know what I mean? So it's weird. It's like, so the idea is, and I think this bears out a little bit in pop culture, is that it's not really about the female desiring a male or the female desiring a man so much as it is the female desiring to simply be desired. So she does all of this in order to attract. You can't even really say she's targeting anybody. Like, all of this is just sort of a general, attractiveness. And by virtue of doing that, somehow she's going to land that guy. And I don't know, yes, no. I mean, you can say that sounds ridiculous, but actually I think that's pretty much how it goes. That's pretty much oftentimes how it works. So oftentimes there isn't really a role for female wherein she's pursuing men. It's men pursuing her. And I think we all think of that as appropriate. And so I don't want to necessarily dispute the roles and say that women should be chasing men. I don't actually think that. But what I think is interesting is that if a woman doesn't have the autonomy to chase a man, and I mean, chase is the wrong word, I'm sorry. let me try to be sensitive about language. If a woman doesn't have the autonomy to desire a man and to pursue that desire, how then does she have any say over the relationship she ends up in? But where's the autonomy there? If she simply sort of becomes this vessel of attractiveness, right? And she has, what control does she have over the men who approach her? Mind you, she can certainly say yay or nay to them, particularly if she's a particularly attractive woman. She has many men coming to her. She has the option of saying no to them, supposedly. Supposedly she has that option. But let's say she's, maybe she's average, whatever that means. And, she's got, maybe she's got two guys who are interested in her, but not the guy she's interested in. What then? Does she just settle for the guys who are interested in her? Is that appropriate? Or does she pursue the guy she's actually interested in and run the risk of being called a cheap floozy or somebody who somehow is, desperate or some form of defective because her feminine wiles weren't the things that attracted the man to her, but she had to lower herself to actually pursue the man. Anyway, so those are the kinds of things that came up in my writing, right? This question of how do you describe female desire that doesn't cheapen a woman's viability. So it's not just about that she has desire, but you want to write it in such a way that she also still has integrity. Right? It's tricky, and I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't gone there yet. And I mean, at the end of the day, it has to just be something that's organic, and I understand that. But it was an interesting question that started to come up in my writing. Where does a woman put those ideas or those interests or those desires, if anywhere?